All right, welcome back. You are still watching Alive This Morning, and my name is Tante Azal. I've been doing this with Femi Fafibi, and now joining us in the studio is Mr. Cletus George, Executive Secretary slash Technical Director, Entertainment Foundation of Nigeria, and a Public Affairs Analyst. Thank you for joining us, George.
It's a pleasure.
Thank you very much.
All right. Subsequently, we will be discussing, on some of the issues touching, our young people. I'm very sure you're very familiar with the young people and their struggles. So when we get there, we are going to definitely cross the bridge.
Okay.
But for now, we'll be going straight to the trending stories we have. We have Dr. Ugochi Nwezu from Ozubulu, Egwisogo local government area, Anambra State, who emerges the 2023 Best University of Nigeria in Nsukka graduating doctor. She is also the best student in medicine and surgery, physiology with 8 distinctions in anatomy, biochemistry, oral biology, pathology, pharmacology, and maxillofacial surgery. She's worth being celebrated. But one thing I have seen going through all that I have read on the internet with, immediately I saw her face and I saw the caption. It actually captioned my mind, see a very beautiful
and brilliant
person, becoming the best student, the graduating doctor. So it is really, really, commendable. I really give it up to her. Going down and seeing some of the comments, in the post is that this kind of news don't really go around.
Exactly.
When young people are wearing panties and
and doing a lot of nonsense.
From the comment section now, I'm trying to say what some people have been saying.
Yeah.
That modesty actually pays. If you're a modest person, if you are a serious person, if you are
hardworking and all of that.
And being serious actually doesn't mean you looking too serious.
Of course not.
You understand? Being hardworking actually means how serious is a person can be.
Yes, absolutely.
And she has actually exhibited all that, and young people really need to emulate this kind of, things that are coming up. We don't have to just entertain only the entertainment industry or only the entertainment part of us.
Absolutely.
They have said it when you see people wearing, they talked about Big Brother Naija now, for
Absolutely.
instance. Everybody wants to watch Big Brother Naija. In fact, there was a time I was hearing that even some pastors actually even watch Big Brother Naija,
Even
just
pastors want to watch it.
Yes, and
to East Asian.
To East Asian. The country is giving us tension, so probably they need something to ease their tension. But we really want to celebrate Ugochi for this very, very big success in her life.
Absolutely.
And we wish that all other young people out there, will emulate from what Ugochi has done. And having someone who has worked with young people, I think we'll have to also hear from you and your point of view on, Ugochi.
And Ugochi.
It is great to find achievers. Achievers are like a bright light, like a star, that inform that if you focus and do well, you will get there, and you will be recognized. That is where I come in. We have a lot of structural omissions in the system, and a heavy presumption on government role. Imagine these are politicians mostly leading a country, okay? They are politicians. They are not country experts, okay? So you must separate the responsibility. Yes, good leadership is what? It is encountering and being able to meet the capacities existent in the society and utilizing them, supporting them, putting them in position to do their thing. It's not the expertise of the ex-politician, for example, to manage economy. Politics is not economics, okay? And then a government is not economy. The economy is the collective grouping of private businesses and private interests and the population's pursuit for livelihood. That is economy. And that is what you have to organize expertly, internationally complied, because you must be following rules that align you immediately with international rules of managing economy so that you can be connectable. Right now, Nigeria economy is quarantined. It's not connected to the world economy at all. It's grouped under the primitive economies. You are not connected. If you go into, say, the internet, you find many facilities. If you attempt to engage, they just look at your location, they say, no, you are not. You are not a participant. You don't qualify to participate. It may be a game, it may be a project or a program. You try, it looks open, but when you get into it and they realize your location, they will have taken your money, then they tell you, no, they don't qualify to participate. You are not part of the world economy. Okay, and that is, I would say, my doorstep responsibility. Difficult to carry. I'm carrying this responsibility since 2008. Why am I saying this? The youth should know that there are people who are doing things, to solve the problem of youth employment and all of that, both illiterate and literate youth. And it is possible to do. Okay, but these things take time. But we have come to the bus stop where you have the right kind of president with the right volition and focus. God also has provided this period for everybody to be focused on the youth solution.
Okay.
And let me say, by His grace, we already have solutions worked together with the World Bank and the Commonwealth Secretariat. These are top experts.
Okay.
That's solutions. So they are world complied solutions.
But to quickly go back a bit to Ugochi, this
lady.
What would you say serves as an inspiration or can serve as inspiration in her life to other youths in the country?
Okay,
because she seems to be
in the scheme
a model.
I'm talking about, that's the mass employment scheme.
Yes.
Mass jobs and employment scheme, which is mainly a youth scheme, a youth service.
Okay.
You have what we call just one particular, that's why it's so difficult. You have one particular structure that services that. That is the halls of fame. Okay, we don't have that national honors, permanent honors, public platform where people who have plowed their lives and done very well in society to shine permanently and internationally. When somebody is lifted in the Hall of Fame, the whole world sees the event on the same day.
And Ugochi deserves that, right?
No, such people deserve it. That is their destination. Permanent, razzmatazz, high worldwide recognition. Then the world connects to the person and the family,
synergy,
profession. Synergizes around the person and makes the maximum of the person in the context of your country.
Some have said, sir, that with specific reference to Ugochi now,
yes,
that she epitomizes a young lady. I mean, she epitomizes responsible womanhood,
yes,
because her dressing, her comportment, the way she has carried herself all along, portrays a high sense of responsibility. And that is something that is lacking, in many youths today.
No, it will be lacking. It will be lacking. Why? The downstream population is not structured. It's not structured. You don't have enough seminars, lectures, all those things bordering on the issue.
Okay.
And secondly, when you are majorly not involved in serious societal matters, your dressing does not match that profile.
Okay.
And it cannot, because it is not the culture of your psychology. You are on the rough end, roughing it, say we turn trousers and all that. It just reflects the state of your mind. There is no assurance of where you are going. Okay, so you are not together. You cannot be together. It won't be natural for you to be together.
Well,
Ugochi is coming from a cultured environment where you have to be serious, competitive, and all that to be able to succeed. So that process imposes the discipline of dressing
On her.
on her. Okay, so the human being is like a machine.
Okay.
All right, it is the context in which you place the machine. You know,
gonna
if you go to Cantalize, everything is sparkling clean, you know, and all that. But when you enter the market, you know, the street market
It's a different ball game.
Well, we'll have to come back. We'll have to come back
Okay.
on that. We'll have to take the next story on our trending stories today. And the next one is a stern warning has been issued to police officers in the country, especially in Delta State, over the arrest of improperly dressed citizens. According to the Delta State Public Relations Officer, DSP Bright Edefa, police officers have no right to arrest people wearing dreadlocks, men wearing earrings, or women wearing bomb shorts or mini skirts. He says none of these dress codes was an offense. Therefore, police officers neither have any right to arrest them nor directives. And you know, this is another direction again. Most times it is like you are given what to do. Instead of facing the work you're being given to do, you're going to another direction. You're doing a different thing. Everyone has work. Everyone has what he or she is supposed to do, and the police have no right. And it is true. You have no right to just see people wearing. You don't see me wearing.
have the right to make a peace-loving citizen going about his business, however he's dressed. What the law is against is exposure, nakedness. That is what it's against. Okay, but you don't tell a citizen who is your boss. Actually, your boss. Yes, the citizen is the boss, is the owner of the country.
Is the taxpayer.
You are an employee. You don't tell them what to wear as long as they are not overexposed or indecently presented.
I think that's exactly what that.
The man can wear his earrings and then go by the law. There is not law that says a man cannot wear earrings. It is not a matter of what you like and what you don't like. It's a matter strictly of the law. Okay? There is no law that says a girl cannot wear a
Trousers or bumper shorts or
bomb shorts or whatever she wants to wear. The law says you should not your nakedness should not be exposed. That's what it says. And we know that nakedness is not about the thighs. Okay? They are private, what you are described as private parts. Okay, that is where nakedness really expressed, all right?
Comes in. Okay.
So, this is all about a society that the downstream is not structured as it should be. And when you talk of, what do we call it? We call it the Nigeria Economy Maximization Scheme. It touches everything. So when you structure like that, you find that even there are halls and places like this TV house, we have a hall somewhere where there are people come together the locals come together to receive regular lectures on the state of the economy, the state of
and how the state is very wrong.
Yes, on where we are going.
Development.
So that they are assured that there is a direction. You hear the common parlance is that where is Nigeria going? We don't know where we are going. We don't know where we are. It's a cry for expression of direction, for giving of direction. Okay?
By those that who hold that responsibility.
On whom you also cannot presume. Okay, for example, I'm an expert in organizing to service that area. That is a private business enterprise occupation. It's for the private citizens to take up and government to support them. It's when they are not supported and they have been government has been presented with the project they are not supporting. That is when you begin to find a deficient government.
All right, I think we'll have to take the next story. And on the next story now, we have the Nigeria Labour Congress on Tuesday revealed that the new minimum wage may be negotiated to 100,000 or 200,000 naira. The announcement is coming after NLC and the Trade Union Congress shelved its planned strike scheduled to take place, yesterday.
It was supposed to be, yesterday.
After meeting officials of the federal government, the organized labor had planned to shut down the country owing to the impact of the fuel subsidy removal. The president of NLC, Joe Ajuru, on Tuesday revealed that the strike was suspended to allow the federal government to fulfill its part of the agreement reached with organized labor. On the relationship, between the Labour Party and the union, Ajuru submitted that the NLC owes no one any apology for supporting Peter Obi in the 2023 elections. The president of the Nigeria Labour Congress says, he denied speculations that the union is pushing for a strike because of its political affiliation to the Labour Party and its presidential candidate, Peter Obi. Well, now, with time we keep getting some new developments on how things are going.
Absolutely.
When people have been saying it, that immediately after the removal of fuel subsidies, so many opponents will come with their own strategies to see how they can bring down this present administration. And some people have been saying it from beginning, with the way NLC have been pushing too much on
the issues of strike,
and how it is very possible that it is from a selfish, interest or point of view. Yeah. And now things are beginning to be more clearer to some of us who don't really know underneath what we are seeing, actually beyond what we are seeing, what is actually happening. But now we are seeing it that the Labour Congress or whatever supported Peter Obi. And now, for this statement like this to come out, there has to be that there is a fire somewhere for this smoke to start coming out. So, Femi, what do you have to say about it?
Quickly, for me, I know that this, let me say, the supposition is a reality. I mean, let me say it's a possibility, high possibility. But then if you want to be very objective, we look at it from the point of view of the fact that out there, among the population, we have different political leanings. So, NLC, it reflects, almost all the parties. I mean, its membership and people it is fighting for. It really goes down. You could find, people belonging to different political parties coming together under the umbrella of NLC. So it may not be 100% correct, that somebody will now say, it's because it is affiliated to Peter Obi. Because actually there have been developments that ordinarily would warrant NLC pushing for, adjustments to strikes.
NLC
and basically I'm talking about, I'm talking about the fuel price increase. It was a major development that came up when this new administration took, came to office. So if we wanted to balance the equation, we are going to have to look at it from that point, because this is something that affects almost everybody. So if NLC is now saying because of the fuel price increase, per liter at the pump, we have to go for a strike. It may be able to hide under that, and then nobody will be able to say, it's because it is affiliated to LP. Or
the president yesterday in an interview said it himself that NLC supported Peter Obi.
Yes, everybody knows. It's obvious.
He said he is not, or they are not apologetically, apologetic about it. Yeah. You understand? So if they are not apologetic about it, let's be realistic now. If I am for you and no hard feelings, you have, maybe he's your opponent, you are aspiring for something, he's doing same,
and you're
contesting and I am for you.
Okay.
So no matter how it is, I would want to be loyal to you, and that is what politics is all about. So if you come out, if NLC comes out to say they supported Peter Obi, and Peter Obi is an opposition party,
he's in the opposition now,
to Tinubu's party. How do you think people, or how do you think APC would see this very thing happening? It is definitely going to be looking like, are you pushing that hard because you are
affiliated to Peter Obi? Yes, well, that's a good way to look at it. But I would also still say that if there was no fuel price increase and NLC was pushing for strike, it would have been easy for almost everybody to say, oh, it's because it is affiliated to Peter Obi and LP. But that singular, development makes it difficult to now pin it and say, because this, like I said, we all know it's affecting everybody. You go, in fact, you know how it has affected the prices of goods and services, because all these transporters will now tell you, oh, do you know how much it costs now? The transport fares have gone up. Those who are bringing food items, taking them from one place to the other, they are shouting and saying, oh, the reason we have increased the charges of
I had to pay up to 1,000 naira just to
get here from a very short distance to this place. You can imagine. So this is why I said, let's not, and let me even say this, very important. Do you know that the word magnanimity can be brought into this scenario now? I believe that our president is a magnanimous person. So let's even assume that it is obvious, and it's actually obvious, that NLC supported LP. But because he is a magnanimous person, I believe he will take it in his strides, because he knows that he's a passionate person, he's a compassionate person, and he knows that all Nigerians at this point need, to be succored. So I believe he would overlook that. So people should please not make so much of an issue out of that, because we are all Nigerians. Everybody has his own political affiliations. Let's even assume that, let's do a kind of swap. Let's assume that our president was in Peter Obi's shoes and Peter Obi was in his own shoes. It would have been the same thing we're talking about. So it's just as simple as that. I believe we should just not make so much an issue out of it.
Okay, so do you think
president's personality,
if Peter Obi was the one who won this very election now, do you think, with the way NLC supported Peter Obi, are you thinking NLC is going to keep pushing the way they are pushing right now?
Well, that's a very good question. But one thing I would want to say is that I'm not too sure of how they would have reacted in such a situation. But I would expect that if they wanted to really fight for the Nigerian workers, which is supposed to be their primary assignment, then they should still go ahead and push for it. Because it's not an issue of, if supporting a party does not mean that you should not, fulfill your basic responsibility as a labor organization. You are there for the people, not, to fight for those who are in government, because that is the way the balance should go.
Well, Tinubu is here. The one who won the election.
But I trust our president. He's a gentleman to the core. I know he won't. The only problem is that those around him, they want to orchestrate this issue. But for him, the little that I know about him, I believe he won't really bother, because what is paramount in his mind is to make sure that all Nigerians, are okay. I don't know if Mr. George would want to.
You say
quickly.
It's difficult to trace a fine line when you are standing astride of a line. Okay, and this is Labour that now has supported a political candidate. Okay, and let me just make it clear again. It is about what you are trained for. You are not trained to even immediately appreciate where you stand. And because we don't have the social discussion platforms, you now find that people are not educated. They are not educated
in the real sense of it.
Normally, after politics, once a candidate has been announced as president, politics is not our national business. It's not our economy. An intelligent society immediately withdraws from the battles of politics and faces economy. Okay, so it's no longer a matter of what lineage you're on. You all want to survive and to live well.
Exactly.
And to improve, the living standard. That becomes the national occupation, and you must approach as such. Okay, so Labour now, I don't see it at all as a matter of party. They threatening strike. They didn't simply go on strike. They threatened for what? To put pressure to draw attention to the immediate issue. They themselves are workers. Now, say you are earning 50,000 and to get your workplace is 1,000. In how many days will the money get finished? Only on transport. All right, so it bites and you don't even know how to handle it. It's confusing. And so you must raise the issue, and you raise it forcefully, okay, to get the immediate attention, because that is the immediate attention.
All the ones
So
is
many
just the
people
attention,
are on foot now, walking how many kilometers to get from one point to another. It will affect the health of the society shortly. You begin to see medical bills are all
Going up.
Yes, no, being imposed, because I mean, especially where you have little children to take care of and you cannot feed them, then you discover that by the time 2 years, 1 year down the line,
The
you're falling
effects
sick,
begin to
and then
show.
you now have hospital bills that are mounting on the situation. But I believe the president has addressed this.
Yeah.
He said it is a national issue, and the responsibility you must bear now for the subsequent future to be better, not borrowing the time and keep borrowing the time while a few people are cutting away the national treasury at the same time because of the same issue, and it's not solving the issue. Okay, so but now I see that they are looking at panacea. The only thing that I know does not exist yet is the professional approach to panacea. This is the government instinctive approach. It's not internationally aligned. It's not professionally approached.
So they need to work on that.
There is not them. They have to receive the professional project.
Okay.
When they receive the professional project, they adopt the project. Within a month, everybody will see that you will be involved in the exercise of solving the problem. And you will see that this problem is being solved, because that will be the focus of the nation
as a whole.
Not just of government, all right? And social solution is structural. It's structural. You must see a structure, an office, not a government office now.
Within the private
ambience, where people work for revenue, for earnings, for income. That is their source of their livelihood. So they give their 24/7 attention to that issue. A politician is a politician. You cannot expect him to leave his profession to now go and be handling another profession. They will not, and no matter how they try, it's a lie. Political will impose and eat into the time, and any affair, any business that is not attended to 24/7 is not going anywhere.
Yes,
absolutely.
Consistency.
So,
well, we have to go to the next topic now, and we have the Federal Capital Territory Command. We have the Federal Capital Territory Command, who who made an announcement on Tuesday that it has apprehended and formally charged 14 male suspects to court for making false claims about the disappearance of their male organs. Commissioner of Police FCT Haruna Garba, who made this known, says the FCT Police Command has recorded over 10 cases of alleged disappearance of male organs across the territory, and the escalating incident of mob action by irate youth. It took the intervention of the police command to prevent the loss of life and property and restore law and order in that command.
That's quite serious.
It is quite serious, and I don't know why these young people keep doing this type of things. We talked about last week something happened in Jos, where a young person was killed innocently because of, I don't really know, and it was a jungle justice. And this type of things, somebody will just start.
There's a guy that hit the Okada guy that had a brush with Okada, yes.
Yeah. So this type of things are the things that will just bring some kind of violence for no reason. Why were they saying their male organs were actually disappeared? Why? Why? Why would you bring that kind of? And when you point, when they probably said this person did it. Sometimes they will say this person. They will point some people. Yes.
False accusation.
Yes. What if you point at the person and immediately
that is what the report is saying, that it was the intervention of the police that stopped lives from being lost, because the normal reaction of people would be to just pounce on that person without even verifying to know if it was true or not, and they begin to beat and eventually kill that person. And that's what happened in the case case of the guy who had, who he brushed with an Okada rider that she was talking about, and before you knew it, the guy had been lynched, just for having a little issue with an Okada, It's not too nice. I think people out there, please let's caution ourselves. We don't need that at this point in time.
Let's really caution ourselves. It is not nice that we'll just sit down. I don't really know why. Probably is because they are jobless. They don't have what to do.
On a serious note, that would be.
Members are shocked.
Yes, these days, yes.
But still, in every matter, when an issue comes up, especially in public, the best thing is to take whoever is involved to an authority for
exactly to the police
of the facts.
That's why the police has said it that
the police took all the
accusers.
Yes, they took them to the
hospital to go and ask the medical team to.
The doctor checks them. And they said
their
organs are active.
Yes. Then they should be charged to court.
Exactly, and I think that's what is needed to
the deterrence.
Exactly.
They should be charged
so that they don't come back and start doing such a
repeating
naughty thing again
for whatever reason.
And then to discourage others who may be thinking of doing it.
The mischief is very high. Mischief is very high, especially in this dispensation where people have taken what we call extreme political interest without having the necessary knowledge about politics. I keep telling them politics is about winning. You don't tell the politician how to win. Okay? And then if you are a citizen, when the appropriate body has announced that this is
particular
result,
candidate has won.
The rest is that we look at the result, and those who are complaining complain in the proper manner.
Allow them to complain.
Okay, complain in the proper manner. Take the issue. Of course, avenues have been provided
to express
further solution, expression of a difference with what is announced. And then it's our collective responsibility to improve the system. That's the advantage of democracy.
Exactly.
That another opportunity is
coming.
We plug every trick and every game that was perceived to have been played to have a better system and better results. Okay, but it doesn't serve you to go obstructing governance, to go obstructing the economy, and then causing everybody more suffering on top of it. So that's what happened. I keep repeating, American elections were disputed very seriously by the Republicans, okay, disputed very seriously with their heavy evidence and all those kind of things. I was saying it right then. The Beavers have problems. They have challenges, okay, and they leave avenue. Imagine the mischief of a company. You produce a machine. You don't say the machine is accessible to other electronic devices. You put it there, then you go back to negotiate with who wants to buy and enter into that machine. That is where they collect heavy sums of money. So they now stay at a distance and begin to control the election machinery. Nigerians have been very intelligent, very, very crafty in checking all the mischief of the world. And as you know very well, there is no part, what do you say, economic warfare is fundamental to human society from the creation of man. One family is here, another one is there. If they meet in the bush, it's fight. One family wants to occupy the
whole territory
for the resources to be to them. So, and it usually amounts to death.
For the others.
The Nigerians should be aware. You are running to America, you are running to Britain. They are only here like lions to eat you. Okay, that's the only way they can come. So now you know that you have to protect what is yours and not allow their entry, because they have their own problems. They should go and face that. And I think their problems right now are bigger than our own. So when we hear of somebody going repeatedly to America to Cuba, what will they do? If they want to really pursue their interests, honestly, they will manipulate that situation till you come and scatter your home.
And without knowing it.
No, you will know what you are doing, but you don't care. You don't care. You are a politician, you want to win. How do you go to a school to... if I went to your child's school, to your children's school, and begin to ask for their exam results, what will you do? Are you will say, am I mad? Are you crazy?
Why are you asking for the child's results?
My children's results. You must be very mad. Then now you ridicule the psychology of the entire nation in saying that those people will be dumbfounded. How can somebody be coming to ask for the result of another person? It is totally ridiculous, fundamentally very stupid. All right, so they now say, oh, I don't mind those people. They're Africans now. They can't even think. And now the aspersion falls on the whole society. We should not be. There's a limit of responsibility. Respect yourself and create respect for yourself. The psychology of your people. All right? Nigerians, published by American companies, constitute the most educated society cluster in American society today. They provide most of the medical doctors, they provide most of the engineers, and so on. So there, Nigeria's profile, intellectual, is very high. And it has become essential to the society. But what do we say? We sing, then carry their intelligence, go bury them for another country. We are just hoping that this project I'm talking about, the NEMS, it covers all these areas.
All these aspects.
People will come back by themselves because if you don't, you are a loser.
They will jump
So I think we'll go deeply into this conversation. Right now we have to go on a short break, and when we come back, we would expect you to continue from where you are just talking because it is actually getting more interesting right now. Let's go on a break and we'll be right back. Hello and welcome to Live News. The immediate past Minister of Youth and Sports Development Chief Sunday Dare, the federal government of Nigeria has taken punitive action against the sectarian. Nigerians have expressed fear over the possible shutdown of businesses and job losses.
See, things are just going higher every day.
For the fact that going from here to Ombalin Day before was at 300, but now is at the high side of 700, 800.
The subsidy costs us trillions of naira yearly. Such as a vast sum of money will have been better spent on public transportation, health care, school, housing, and even national security.
Whoever lies in this Calabar sexual case will go to jail. I will personally make sure that all involved in this shameful act shall be prosecuted and jailed. I am pleading with you. I want justice to be done. If you have complaints or you have anything to talk about concerning this case, head to the panel because the investigation is still ongoing. Go there and lay your complaints, but don't lie, because if you lie, I will ensure that you're prosecuted, jailed, if found guilty. Please note that this is a very big opportunity for us to put an end for this numerous sexual harassment or false accusation. We must have to get it right, and justice must be done. Whether you're the vice chancellor, whether you're the professor or the student, any of you that lies will surely be prosecuted, jailed, if found guilty. My name is Barrister Mrs. Uju Kennedy Ohanene, the Honorable Minister for Women Affairs. Justice must be done.
Well, welcome back. Joining us now on the program is Mr. Deji Aleshinloye, He's a member of the Nigeria Institute of Public Relations and a fellow of the Nigerian Institute of Corporate Administration. Good morning, sir.
Hello, good morning. I'm happy to be here.
Welcome to the program. Well, we've been talking about, the Nigerian youth, and Nigeria has celebrated its 63rd years of gaining independence, and young people have lamented the rate of youth unemployment in the country. The high rate of unemployment among the youthful population is worrisome, even as it creates an avenue for a said unemployed youth to engage in social vices that are contrast to the peaceful and the coexistence of all Nigerians. And the labor, let's not talk about the labor yet. And people have been going around saying, we want the lives of the civil servants. Everybody is crying and asking for how the government is going to repair them or maybe their sectors. And the Nigerian youth is actually feeling left out of what is happening. Okay, and the Nigerian, we have like from 15 to 24 years, that is what we are talking about, and the rate of them at that stage, the rate of unemployment within that class, age class is getting too intense, and people are saying, what can we do to reduce or to eradicate the rate of unemployed youth in the country?
Oh, thank you very much. I listened to you mention that age range of our youths in Nigeria to be around 15 and 24. I want to say that there are other definitions that will be very appropriate for Nigerian youths in bracket, and that is the International Labour Organization definition, which captures 15 years to 35. Another one says 18 to 29. So basically, if you look at the Nigerian youth between 15 and 35, you can still be in the unemployed market, yet you are willing to work. So I will be comfortable with that age bracket, and it is very true. The rate of unemployment among our youth has an international dimension, which is very negative. Approximately, we have about 151 million youths in Nigeria, out of the population that says maybe we are 218. In the whole world, Nigeria has the highest number of youth population, and that should be a strength. We are ahead of all other countries when it comes to how many youths do we really have in that age bracket. And that is the age that produces production. And that is the age that drives economy. But maybe we have made a lot of mistakes in leadership, priorities, and governance, and all of that. But coming to where we are, the story has to change. We are only second to South Africa in the highest number of unemployed youths in the world. We have about 80 million Nigerian youth who are not having a job, or maybe they left a job and they don't have another one. South Africa is just about 61%, we are 53%. That is alarming, and that is a cause for concern. In fact, that the youth have not blown up the whole country now, we should be thankful.
Absolutely.
We have a leadership. We really need to do something. And if you break it into parts, who is unemployed? The man who is economically active, willing to work, but not getting a job, or left his job and not getting another one. Or somebody said unemployed means you can't simply work and you are willing. And if you look at what are other countries doing, what are the solutions? The solutions are not something that comes like magic. It's a pull together. It's a pull together that will take us back to our educational system. What we inherited from the colonial masters, where the curriculum tilted towards preparing our youth for jobs in the colonial offices, studying a lot of social sciences, studying courses in history, in sociology, in geography. It does not work anymore. The country that I live in here, at the age of 14 in Hungary, you are already in one industry starting to work. And you don't need to complete a 4-year bachelor's degree that every parent in Nigeria wants their children to do. I've seen parents who go to church to do a Thanksgiving because your daughter or your son has an admission to study guidance and counseling. Why? How many guidance and counselors do we want to provide in the country? And how is that going to translate into being self-reliant, being having values, being having capacity and skills to support production? We must rethink. The educational system is flawed. If you go to Canada and the United States, there are so many colleges And if I tell you the courses that they do, diploma in hairstyling, diploma in carpentry and renovation, diploma in personal support, what are these courses in the Nigerian curriculum? We miss the gap between high school and university is all we think about. No, we all don't need to study sociology. We don't need too many guardians and counselors. We don't need too many history teachers, too many geography students. We want students to go to colleges or technical schools where they are being prepared to go into the industry. And the thing is, the industry must be there for the students to be ready to be engaged. Where are the industries? The government we have now can correct this mistake. It may not be in one day, but we must see signs that we are encouraging production. In what area are we producing? In the area of agriculture, where we have our huge potential. We must finish the chain value of agriculture. We must put our youth to work in agriculture. We must put them to work in IT, and it must be a deliberate effort. India has done this by making sure that they support startups. If this country don't support small businesses, nobody is going to be employed. Are we thinking government is going to employ everybody in the civil service? No, the civil service is not supposed to be promoted. It's just supposed to be a core professionals managing whatever. In China, those who employ highest number of youth with a 1 billion population of people, they are the private sector and small businesses. What are the problems of small businesses in Nigeria? Government does not focus yet. Government don't have a special deliberate effort to know that you must allow the students to be employer ready, that is going to school to study the appropriate course in doing carpentry, electrical electronics at that level, and then support financing, provide capital for these young people to begin startups, encourage local consumption of our products. What is Nigeria still doing with buying or importing ketchups into the country, or toothpicks, or even juices? Look at what happens in our refreshing drinks in Nigeria. All my years, I knew Coca-Cola, Pepsi, and Fanta. At the time, Biggie came. I'm a grown adult, and you saw the transformation in the local industry. This Biggie, that. Look at that interesting transformation. We can do so much across all of the sectors, but we can put our youth to work. But how do we do that? Number one, we must be able to know that this is the way to go. Government must put the resources into the priority of creating and supporting local businesses, local entrepreneurs. We don't need all of the Dangotes enough. We need the small Dango that is not Dangote. That is the area where we must focus. And then we have a lot of crimes in the country. Why won't we? The same country that produced the likes of Chief Obafemi Awolowo, Enahoro, and Azikiwe, and at the age of 30-29, they were already thinking of taking leadership of the country. It's the same country that produced youth in their 35 years old who are still squatting with their parents, and they don't have any means of livelihood, and they are poor and broke and depressed, and then they are very ready to go to any protest to Lekki or wherever and channel their energy to it. These are the same youth in Europe where I live who goes to work in the industries regularly. Are these industries supposed to be Nigerian, all of them? No. We have to make the environment clear for people to invest in the country. And then because we have a huge number of population, why are the fashion designers going to Philippines to establish their industry? Zara, Armani, all of them. They have companies in the Philippines where labor is very cheap. In Nigeria, labor is also available. 151 million youths ready to work. 80 million of them are not employed. Only few are employed. We need to attract all of these companies. We need to also make local entrepreneurs work. People talk about generating electricity. That's something that a lot of countries have moved on. Why are we still struggling with power? Power there's no rocket science about producing power. We have to look at water, we have to look at dam, we have to look at solar, we have to look at gas and break them into pieces and put them into a region so that each region can have power and people can do it for free. I've been in Europe for 3 years, light has not moved on. In 1 second, I've not seen darkness. Why? Hungary, where I live, is not special. We don't even have the potentials. But Nigeria must refocus our educational system first. We must redesign the curriculum. Let's shift away from the liberal sciences or social sciences. I'm making, if I ask you, if you go to universities now, you will see that the population of students going to study mass comm, history, sociology, they are higher than those who want to study physics. and in engineering. Go and check. Why? Because right from their childhood, like me too, I see my parents go to work 8 to 5. Both of them are teachers. So my brain has been conditioned that for me, when I grew up to myself and my sisters up today, we are also working 8 to 5. I never had a business-oriented entrepreneur's spirit. And across board like that, we don't have that generation who granted unto us the skills, capacity to be self-reliant and own businesses instead of wearing suits and going to work at 9 to 5. And then you come back poor and borrow money for everything you do in life. So orientation must change. Take power from all this white collar. There's nothing white. It is a blue collar now. The guys who make money are the guys in tech. What does tech mean? It means that from infancy, from childhood, in the school curriculum, our students know about digital learning capacity. And then when they grow up, they become experts. So I think basically we have a government now who I think is qualified. President that in a long time is a politician, is learned, and he knows it. And he has been in the most successful state in the country, which is Lagos. If he can refocus and he gets our support, I think it's time now for us to know that it will not be like tomorrow, it will not be next tomorrow, but we can move towards it. We can move towards that. So that in another 2, 3, 4 years, we're talking about absorbing out of this 80 million, 40 million are conveniently in the production sector, working in agriculture, in the food value chain, working to supply. Why are we not having so much investment? Because we are not making the environment appropriate for foreign investment and for local entrepreneurs to try. We must encourage local consumption of food. By the time we consume our own locally made ketchup, our own locally made Maggi, that is when Nigeria will move. So I think it's a problem that is long coming, but when are we stopping? It should be now. Can we do it? Yes, we can. Who was going to do it? The leadership we voted into power. Who asked them to do it? The followership who voted them into power. By not stopping to talk, by providing alternatives and solutions, not just criticisms that is not constructive.
Okay.
So, Mr. Deji, you mentioned some things. You mentioned some skills that Nigerian young people can actually do. But when you come across statements like Nigerian youth are lazy, what would be your response?
Nigerian youths are not lazy. It is the direction of the leadership that makes the youth population lazy.
Seem lazy.
Where I live in Europe now, at the age of 14, you find yourself in your father's business or in an industry where your brothers and sisters work. And between 14 and 35, you already engaged. At the age of 14, you're already earning money. Well, there's no laziness. But if you don't provide the direction, if you don't provide the starting point, the youth will inherit what you give them. And that is why the youth that we had at independence, when Nigeria was just 45 million people, the youth we had at independence were the ones who went to school, they were appropriate, working with foreign companies, the likes of our fathers who were buying 504 Sandoka at 2,000 naira, the new brand one. They were buying Volkswagen at 1,500 naira. They were the ones who were properly molded to lead and to run the country. The youth that we had, now that we are 218 million, and we have 151 million youth, and we have 80 million of the youth not employed. It is the same youth, the same country, different realities. So what have we done? In the days of the military, nothing was done because the military they are not equipped to solve all these kind of problems. No way. Because we had a long-term rule that really affected us. Since return to democracy, we have been battling with so much problem that the government has not been able to focus. And we are just lucky. Just lucky that Nigerians are calm in nature. We need not to encourage combustion, but we must show signs that we can do it. So I feel not laziness is nothing. Everyone wants to have money. Everything where I work, where I live now, if you work 8 hours per day, it's not for you at the end of the month to be able to pay your bills. Where in Nigeria can you see a youth who doesn't have any job to do and can just get a job at the bar easily, can just get a job at the restaurant? Where is the restaurant? Where is the farm? Where is the cattle farm? We must provide all of this so that when the youth are engaged, forget the crimes, they will go. They find job for themselves and they move into Yahoo. They find job for themselves and they move into kidnapping. And they find job for themselves and they move into robbery. If you look at all of these things, the family unit, And the disorientation is important. If you don't make Nigeria a social welfare state where government is interested in all the things that family does, the schooling of their kids, the health, by subsidizing, by coming to support, making it easy for families to produce level-headed and calm individuals, we're going to have problems because disoriented families, disintegrated families, will produce for you very horrible youths that will not ask you questions and then will take into crimes. So you find out that countries that are doing very, very well right now are the countries, look at the Scandinavian, Finland, Sweden, Denmark, Netherlands, look at those countries in Europe. Those countries who prioritize social welfare. So that's why I go back to what Chibawolo said. We can have a democratic socialism system where we are in democracy. We encourage a little bit of big entrepreneurs in capitalism, but we merge it with socialism. When we do socialism, democratic socialism, we are going to encourage social welfare system where the families will be supported, where we are going to subsidize education, subsidize local entrepreneurship, make sure that focus is on the people.
Yeah.
A lot of people have stolen our money so much. A lot of people have robbed us daylight. Now is the time the government we have now can stop. Look at Nigeria's reaction to fuel subsidy. We don't have the patience anymore to experiment. But the fuel subsidy must stop. We don't know.
Absolutely.
How does this stop? That's the problem.
Absolutely. Now, thank you very much, Mr. Election Lawyer. Quickly, I'll just, because you have said so much, in fact, I appreciate your high spirits and the hope that you are expressing, for a better Nigeria. But I'll just quickly give you some keywords, and based on what the question I want to ask you, and I want you to analyze it quickly and tell us one or two things. Now, you talked about, our power sector, the education sector, agriculture, and some of those industries like that, sectors like that need to be, rearranged, and then you also talked about the issue of youths getting into productive activities at very early ages in some of those advanced societies you talk about. Very interesting. And then I now begin to picture you I allowed my imaginations to run wild a bit. I begin to picture you as a special advisor to the president on youth affairs. If you were you're wearing those shoes now, what would you say to President Tinubu? Because like you are admitted, he is a man who is capable and able and is willing to do most of these things that we're desiring for a new Nigeria. What would you tell him as regards some of these areas that you have really analyzed intelligently, Mr. Aleshonoye?
Thank you very much. I will say it again. The president we have now, since we returned to democracy in 1999, is the most qualified. In the sense that he's the one who has sat on the table of the most successful state in Nigeria, which is Lagos. Number two, if you look at his history and trajectory, there's no one who comes so near him. Because if you are in democracy, we are in democracy. And if we want to rate president, we must rate president as democratically our president, not as retired soldier or retired disorder. President Tinubu is highly endowed, he's equipped, he has the contacts, the knowledge, and he can see. He felt poverty on the streets of Lagos. He saw poverty so close in Lagos, and he transformed a lot of people into wealth. Now that he's president, if I'm sitting beside him as a maybe senior special assistant to you, I will tell him that because exposure has made me to realize that we must look to have a functional educational system. There must be an executive decision to change overall the educational system by, number one, appointing a minister of education who will align with this vision of going, number one, to strengthen the colleges and technical colleges we have in the country, so that between high school and university, we can have our children go to a 2-year diploma courses, and when they come out from there as a diploma in carpentry, diploma in hairstyling, diploma in electrical electronics, they can move into the industry, or they can move into the university to specialize. And which industry are they coming to? The industry that we encourage to come into the country to produce, because we encourage industries to come and tell them that this is the population that will work for you and not expensive. You can't find this population in UK. The whole of UK is 60 million. The whole of UK is not up to the population of youth in Nigeria that are not employed. If you combine the number of graduates that we turn out every year, 600,000 fresh graduates, and in totality about 2.9 million graduates are coming to the Nigerian labor market. Just 10% of them, 10% are employed. 2.9 million is more than the population of Luxembourg, of Estonia, Montenegro, and Kosovo put together. And those are the guys we produce as graduates. So we are a very virile environment for any industry to thrive. And how do you encourage and give assurances to industries to come here? You need to appeal to their sense of business and show them their potential. What are our potentials? Population to work, stability in governance, all of this infrastructure. Tell them it's there. Number two, I would tell Mr. President that you cannot sit in the Ashram and solve youth unemployment in Katsina, in Yobe, in Ekiti, where I come from, in Lagos, in Kaduna. No, break it down. Make sure it is on a concurrent list. These things must be done at the local level. How do you do it at the local level? The money you give to youth, production of okay, let's say for instance, if it is very good in agriculture and Kaduna is very good in textile, if you invest in along the line of their competitive advantage, make sure the youth it's about youth. You cannot sit in Abuja and solve the problem of the youth in Nigeria. Let the state and local councils come with plans and then invest in it, re-strategize priorities so that when the people in Lagos don't complain of job and those in Kaduna don't complain of job, invariably in about 2 years we will solve unemployment because we are putting them into work. And I know agriculture can solve a lot of problems. Agriculture can solve a lot of problems. Small scale industry can solve. Let our young individuals who are very talented know that they have assurances of capital financing. The banks are not giving money. Before I left Nigeria, I wrote to the CBN, I filled form, and I waited for about 6 months to get maybe 5 million naira for my poultry business in my home country. Instead, I started with my own money, and I needed CBN, and the facility was there by law. I'm qualified. I didn't get until I traveled. Why? Why can't you guarantee me to have that? If I have that business, China, young people are the one who does business. And what do you give them? A little money, they turn it into massive production. So I believe that we must look at areas where the states are competitively advantageous in their local level and then put resources there. And this resources must be turned towards that. And it's going to work. It is really going to work. And then to the military, we must expand our military. Like the president said, we must make sure that we have young people who graduate into the force, into the customs, into the immigration, so that we can secure the borders that are not secure. We must make sure that as youth are graduating, we impress them with the idea to move into agriculture. Who gives this direction? Government. Look at Netherlands. Netherlands alone can produce the food, can produce the food that a lot of part of Europe can eat. Netherlands alone produce the milk that we take in Africa. In Netherlands, that's where you see the milk that we drink all the time. Nigeria has got a lot of these things, but we're not checking it. So I feel that the time is right for us now. Those who sit at the corridors of power must know that when we want to solve youth problem, we must localize it. How do you localize it? Find out what is happening in this region and supply resources. Change priorities. Change priorities from recurrent expenditure to project, to financing project. And how do you finance project? Make sure that the money we get from this subsidy that is coming so big is thrown back to the people to be employed, to have jobs, and for banks to have the guarantee that they need to provide capital. If you don't provide capital, there's nothing's going to happen. China does that. They provide financing for the youth to have startups. When you have a lot of small startups in the country, they're going to get there. We're really going to get there.
All right, thank you, Mr. Deji, for this extensive explanation. We really appreciate it, and really appreciate you for joining us on the program. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
All right, for now we'll have to end the conversation with Mr. Deji here.
Yeah, that's been very interesting.
Yes, it is actually a very interesting, conversation with Mr. Deji, and he pointed out some key, points out of what he has said. And one of the things, of course, we know with the way the young people are coming out to back Baba you know, the president now.
Yeah.
It is
The
really,
picture is changing.
it is changing, and we are seeing it that actually Tinubu is for the youth, you know, with the way they are really coming out to be positive about it. It is
Waiting for him.
different, you know. Other presidents will come and the young people are so against so many things they are doing, you know, but this time around you hear young people being so positive, you know, pouring out their support towards this administration. It is really something
And they're
that we
expressing
really need
faith.
to
They're
appreciate.
expressing faith in the administration.
Yes, they're expressing faith in the administration. And I know you have a lot to talk about, Mr. Cletus, on, you know, the young people and the unemployment rate and all of that. And I see how you've been waiting patiently, you know, to start
To dissect
the
that,
conversation.
yes.
So we really want to go back to you now in the studio, hearing what he has said. What would you say about unemployment in the country?
Okay, we talk in every circumstance of the nation. The time is, let me say, a margin by which you measure things.
Okay.
If you do not organize your mind and your appreciation and approach to judgment and quantification of where you are into dispensations, you would think that you are lacking when you are not lacking. How old is Nigeria? 63 years old. That's
Yeah.
not even a century. Mr. Deji was talking about societies that are 500 years old, 600 years old. At 63, they were savage circumstances. They were not 1/4 of what Nigeria is. If America at 63 was a gun range, everybody goes on the street with 2 revolvers.
Armed.
And when we
Up to the
argue,
teeth.
we lose temper.
Somebody's dead.
Just climb and ride away. Nobody says.
Nobody asks me any question.
Okay, so they were at total lawless stage. They were not at the level Nigeria has achieved at 63. Now, what we need to know is this. Talking about problems is one thing. Now, solving problems is another thing. That is where, I don't know, I'm gifted at excelling, tracing the tangent. In the Nigeria Positioning for Export conferences, which were started in 2008 and ran till 2011, so I'm talking about target actions now. We were not designing solution on our own, okay? Experts from industrialized nations and from institutions that are actually sitting on the portfolio of expanding and intensifying economies, improving economies. They were the people driving the forums. And we had over 46 business sectors there. Then you come and begin to understand that education is a business sector. It's not a government occupation. If you mentioned government 3 times in that conference, you were walked out without any question. Okay?
That was how strict it was.
That was how emphatic they were on the idea of looking at government for solution
All the
for
time.
economy. Okay?
That's interesting.
The economy should take their package solution to government, for government to say, okay, this is what you deem next because you are expert in business. Okay, this is what you want us. What do you want from us?
How can we help?
To be able to achieve this? They have the treasury. Okay, we need 5 billion, and what's your timeline? 3 years, 5 years, these things will be in place. They become visible. You are what we say sustainable solutions.
Goals.
Okay, so now where we are, without any waste of time, because it has taken me 12 years to get here to this point in time. That is how long it takes to calculate a solution targets to a society. Nobody can come from another society to solve the society in Nigeria. You must, the understanding should come from within. So best practices will give you what? The general principles. Okay, government has no business in government. How many Nigerians can think on that particular element, on the structuring of economy, what that means? it would seem what you say abusive on government. When you say government has no business in business, it seems abusive, but it is not. When the computer village man set up his shop, what was government? He's not in it. Okay? When he was employing his boys, where is government? Government is not there. Okay? Now, it takes the computer village people to tell you what they need from government to expand, because you have nothing else to expand the economy on. It's on the existent economy that you can expand economy. If a business is expanding, it needs what? It needs employees. Okay, so it can tell you, come, we need okay, it's a training, education is another business. So people see the essence for education in computer technology, and they now set up computer institutes as a business. Okay, the economy is expanding. There are many teachers who now they train people who now become teachers, and others go and expand and set up other institutes. And the government can say, okay, how many graduates have you? Where you have so many graduates, send 10 to us so that we can establish schools, computer schools for them to educate our youth. So within 5 years, 3 years,
we have a social number of
you now begin to see, but now structurally approaching this became the issue, and that is where, like, Providence made me the king of the forums. I was the only person talking after the second forum. Why? The entire setting of our economy could not follow up even the principles. I only had the advantage of, say, having traveled something like 70 countries and come into contact with the control systems.
In those countries?
In those countries. There are countries where if you go to Spain, you don't have the social card, the business card. You do nothing there. Nobody will even receive you. You come with your card, they slot it, they know who you are and all those kind of things, what your area of expertise, what your age, and where you are located, where you are coming from, straight away. Then anything you want, database company is the person who connects companies for you. I say, okay, these are the people you should talk to.
Sometimes recommend.
You are not just recommending. It is your cluster of interest. What are you doing in another place?
Yeah.
Okay, that will become their question. What is he doing in that company? No, you came here for computer business. You say you are a trader. Okay, so you are looking for where you can acquire goods and all. They don't want to see you roaming somewhere else, except your leisure now takes you to
other places
and that kind of thing. But their movement will be relevant. If not, they will stop you and they will deport you. Okay, all that to contain crime. All right, now when we want to structure for the youth, the first question: who are you? Where are the youth? We just use the word youth. Okay, there are 180 million. How did you establish that? All right. So you see that in the structural scheme, you have what we call an IBC, an internal business code, which is a registration which is definitive for the lifetime of everybody registered with a code number. That person is identified until he dies by that code number. If he gets it, if he comes to do business with you, you ask for his code number. How would somebody begin to get involved in scamming and crime with his code number?
Then it can be traced easily.
He can't even engage business in the society without
in the first
code
place.
Number.
Okay.
Okay. So if he wants to do scamming, let him try. And by the time they receive it, they will trace him so fast that this is the person who did this. Not that he will now appear in Dubai and then start doing there for Dubai to have a problem.
This kind of I can remember when the federal government talked about the BVN, and everybody had to register all his accounts in one place. You have to put your full name.
Now you see that is a business item related to the bank. It's not a business item related to industry.
Yeah, what I'm trying to say is, so that everyone's detail.
Yes,
they cannot
go and scam.
Yeah, for banking, yes, specifically.
Is, for instance, I'm just using this as an example to what you're talking about.
Based on what you're talking about. Example, it's a very similar. but the function of the BBN is not the function of the
IBC mentioned.
IBC. Okay, and then you come to realize why we are what we are. Are these common knowledge items? No, they are not. You come to a specialized forum, then you hear that, what will they tell you? They tell you that you have to be, your industry has to, your economy has to be connectable. It has to be visible. They don't tell you how. Then what happened at the forum? After using all such terminology as the international best practices, they say the economy has visibility, blah, 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 blah. And after all of that, they say, okay, industry representatives, you send us your proposal of solutions. Hear what they say. Proposal of solutions for your economy on one page. Could you type what Mr. Goki was saying only on YouTube?
No, at all.
Okay. For me, that was the most disappointing, the most daunting intellectual exercise that I ever encountered. But it took me something like 3 weeks waking up and sitting on the issue until, you know, the spiritual and the physical, they are there. And depends on how you are positioned, you will get it. All right? That is if you have the basics of that, you are coming from a solid educational background. Real educational background. In my school, the principal will tell you in the lecture, don't talk about your mark in the test. No, that's not what we want to know. They will now address 70 marks of your final results in any subject, say physics. 70 marks will be on your application of physics principles. Physics principle, what do you apply? Can you make a grenade? That means, okay, the chemicals are in the lab.
You know how to combine them around
your chemicals. Go into the cassava farm. You wear the appropriate gear, and let us see you explode a grenade. 70 marks is for that too. 30 marks only for the literary, the writing. So it's the practical
that is emphasized.
That is emphasized. You can't even survive there if you are not really tough in practicals. You can't survive beyond the 3rd year. You are automatically transferred. Then you get to another, what you say, Catholic secondary school. Go and continue there. You don't belong here. All right. So you find that because this is not common, that is the only advantage I had at those forums. I was diagnostic by your training, by orientation. Okay. So now look at our society. When it was finally announced that you know something what you say uncommon has happened, we have been traveling. The team said they have been traveling for 25 good years to different countries, and this is the first time they have found somebody who presented on one page solution for an entire economy. And it rhymed with international best practices.
That's interesting.
Oh, well,
okay.
We'll have to.
So you take it from...
Okay, continue.
Okay, quickly. You take it from there. What am I trying to say? You are in a society. You have the spiritual. Did you have 2 Jesus? No. Israel was very large. A hell of a lot of religious activity. You have one Savior. Okay? So, the same thing manifested there. They were surprised. You have doctors, you have professors, you have one technical director of PIMA and entertainment place. Is the person who is designing solution that he both says is the thing. You know, so the society now showed them. Somebody stood up and said, you know, okay, $200 million has been approved to apply this package, but $1 of it will not be seen until we see the first public branded office on the package. Because in the end, all they needed was a diagram, you know, showing the structures that are a component to expanding of economy according to international best practices, which is all I did. All right. But now your society, as they advise, instead we can't even understand how this man's mind is put together to be able to do this. Because we have in 25 years that we are sending delegations all over a whole long years.
We have not come across
one single package
of this nature.
Okay. So they were not expecting at all. Then you see that there are shadow companies, there are shadow entities in the world holding certain items that are not permitted to advertise. They are not even permitted to tell you their function. When I succeeded, then they now came forward and handed me brochure and card, and you will see on it printed, priority confidential. Then you enter the document, you see instructions. You don't begin to discuss those things with people, because you will only go into what you say intellectual property infringements and into international law infringements. All right. So for us to be able to do this, we approach structurally, and we approach with knowledge that we are dwelling in the context of a world economy involving so many hundred, which you have to align. You don't create what you say quarantine economy starting with your own principles. You will not be able to work out. Those people have gone through tests for 500 years. You are coming along the way and you say there is something you can change. You can only hook up. So
all right, sorry for us cutting short there. We have also, some voices out there. Yesterday, some of our, reporters who went out there to hear some things or some other people's experience or opinion on how, the unemployment in Nigeria has gone far. Let's see what they have to say.
According to youth unemployment rates released by the National Bureau of Statistics in 2022, about 53.40% of youths are unemployed, which have led to the increase of the wave of armed robbery, prostitution, drug trafficking, kidnapping, and ongoing abductions of Nigerians. Masses, while speaking with Alive News, have advised the youth to learn a skill which will help them earn a living and not depend on getting a white-collar job, as the rate of unemployment in the country is high.
First place, before anyone goes into the university for any course, you have to think properly of what you want to go and do. And I will advise that you go in there and do what you can actually come back to practice on your own. In our country today, it's more of getting established on your own than waiting for any collar job or waiting for any job anywhere, which is not actually forthcoming. So I will advise youth coming out that they come out to use their brain, to use themselves, to do something that will be beneficial to themselves and to the community. Because I don't see any job, I don't see anything getting better.
Not physically to use certificate for employment. So they should have an idea of doing something on their own, establishing on their own. They should be creative. If by eventually along the line they are lucky to get formal employment, good. But when that is not coming, then they should be creative. Instead of spending much time on phone, chatting, they should use that phone to see what they can do.
Create more jobs. That's just it. We are the youths. They need to focus on us. Create more jobs. If the youths are jobless, if they have grudges, they will revolt. They will fight. Things will not work. If you don't make your youths happy, you don't have a country. Do you understand? So get the youths, fix them, create more jobs in abroad. I see my friend traveled abroad 2 months ago. She's already working 2 jobs.
Welcome back. You're still watching Alive this morning, and we've been talking about the young people and some of the worries they have out there, and you have heard what they have said. It is not easy. It is not easy at all. We've been talking about, even though, our guest has said it already, when you want to talk about unemployment and, or the involvement in government. You can't talk about the involvement in government in everything. You can't depend solely on the government to do everything for you. So you have to know that even as you're complaining or lamenting about unemployment in Nigeria, it doesn't just sit on well that is the government that is doing poorly, and that is why we have unemployment.
Yes,
and that is why I asked even the other guests online. I asked about when he gets to hear statements like the young people are lazy. Because if you talk about all those special skills, and I mentioned it before, that some of our young people, of course, we are doing greatly. That in fact, young people are inspiring me these days.
Yes.
You can see how they are breaking records, no matter how, even if it's the entertainment industry, they are breaking records. What are you doing personally, as a person, to change your life?
Situation.
But maybe that's my own opinion, but we've been talking about some challenges and all, talking about your experience and your experience with the young people. What would you have, to say in total how we can eradicate unemployment in young people?
Okay, that is fundamental to maximizing the economy, because as Mr. Deji said, that is where the energy is. The body of man is already a machine, okay, and it's most dynamic. Without academics or anything, it's most dynamic within a certain age bracket, okay? And you maximize the activity of talent. That is for youth. Talent is what you were born with. Instinctive capacity, physical strength, agility, and all that, okay? Now, let us take it into society. Where is talent? Talent is in that pretentious word, entertainment. It was in the forums that I understood that in international understanding, entertainment includes culture. Culture, which is just instinctive, automatic. It's everywhere across the country. It's a business enterprise. Culture, fashion, arts and crafts, fine arts and crafts, all the painters, all the writers, all the kind of thing. It's in there, okay? Then you have tourism. Everything that is for relaxation and distractive is under entertainment. Okay? But we have confusion of titles in our immediate environment, where somebody will say entertainment is in tourism. and say tourism, no, tourism is not entertainment. It is. The person came to relax, that's why it's touring. He can have educational tourism. If he's not lying down in a hotel, he must use the hotel, okay? Which it already puts him on relaxation. In the hotel, if he does not have TV and so on, he will complain. In fact, he needs to go to a cinema or something to relax himself.
Absolutely.
So leisure has come in. Everything leisure is entertainment. Just that one word. Okay, so you have about 14 different, is the most juggernaut of our industry. Over 14 business industries are inside
embedded in it.
Okay, hospitality is one. All your hotels are everything. They're under entertainment. All your media like this is under entertainment. Now imagine you applying as a government institution to the World Bank for a fund. What do? You send application for tourism. They take it, they put it aside. It's not in their dictionary. What they have is entertainment. And they want to see a global entertainment scheme to say that you are going. That's why the developed economies got tired with us. Okay, like they always have to provide separate principles for you. While their staff are trained with a certain understanding, you bring it, it doesn't fit in his file, he puts it aside. He moves, he types the computer says this is what is entertainment. Then he's receiving an application for tourism. They say no. Well, put it aside. Go and forget those third world people. All right, that is our main tragedy. But it is not let me say, it does not remove the fact that we are late. We are not late. In fact, we are 10 times much faster than those economies evolved. When they came to Africa, they were dumbfounded because we had Benin Kingdom was a terror. I mean, concentric walls, longer, 10 times longer than the Great Walls of China.
Okay, so sir,
yes.
If I can just quickly come in again, how do we directly tackle the issue of rate of high rate of unemployment among the youth?
I have come to the entertainment area.
Okay.
You see youth in their hundreds or whatever
and thousands
inside just singing. You have sound studios. That's at technical platforms. All the producers, directors, voice trainers, all those are only the music has over 70 functions. Employment stream
that can be exploited.
Yes. Now you have people like 10 Strings Music College. It has over 50 branches in Nigeria.
Okay, it's an international music.
No. It's still local.
Okay.
It hasn't gone international. Okay. It's only in a few states.
Okay.
All right. When you say you are structuring now to employ with culture, what do? You now open. You fund those colleges to upgrade and become institutes, big schools, and then to spread across
the nation.
You don't take entertainment. It's a business sector. It makes money. Okay, and it's present in the 36 states.
Okay.
So because that's essential, or else you run into the problem of gravitation into the cities, internal migration to the city center.
We're running from.
But when you are treating culture, it's all over the place.
Yeah.
All right.
There's a balance.
Yeah. So it meets all over. So now you even go to your cultural games, which are not even seen right now. They are not exploited.
Okay.
So everybody you see there is youth. Youth below 20 mostly. You see them in those areas. When I just call any cultural troupe now, Atilogu is 3/4 is gymnastics, 3/4 youth. Okay. But what's Atilogu? Atilogu has like fizzled out as a group of about 8 people or 10 people and all that kind of thing, which it should not be. So we are not yet exploiting. What am I saying? I'm saying that we have immediate youth employment platforms in over 16 different industries. Our sports is inside entertainment, but now our sports is still government run.
Okay.
It's not a business sector.
Okay.
It has to be privatized.
Absolutely.
Right. So simple. We start from within. There are sectors that you can leverage on to service the youth population in their multitudes.
And get them employed.
Yes. So security will take a lot. All these activities need security. You find a lot of security. You don't need any education to be a security man. You only need a briefing.
Basic
of 1 week and
crash training program.
Training program. In 3 months, 6 months, you have changed the landscape for the youth. In groups. So when you talk about, attached to that is entertainment distribution networks, where you have about 30 calendared events. And not now one promoter takes one person and go and put on a stage somewhere.
No, this is more encompassing.
And now you have about 20 events within a year that are set.
All right. Thank you very much, Mr. Cletus George, for your presence in the studio today. We really appreciate it. And this is where, we come to an end of the program today. So before we go, Femi Fafiebi, do you have anything to tell our viewers before we go?
Well, thank you, Tante, and thank you, viewers, for staying with us all through this program. Well, you've heard what 2 guests have said this morning. We can look inwards, and particularly for the youths out there, please don't carry that spirit of despair. Yes, and don't be discouraged. Thank you. So just keep on hoping in a better Nigeria. We're almost there, and I'm sure that if you can do something within your own space, be creative, I'm sure something good is coming for you.
right, and taken from you, we are almost there. So just be patient, a little bit of patience, and you know we are going to definitely get there. We have started a journey, and in every journey there has to be an end. So you know we are going somewhere. Okay, so just be patient a little, and you know things are going to be fine. We are Nigerians, and we are one Nigeria. Be a patriotic Nigeria today. Love your country and be true to your country, and your country will be true to you. Thanks for watching Alive this morning, and we'll see you on Friday.